Wow. 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 Listen, man. I gotta say it again. You know, whether the Sixers are good or bad, they are never boring. That's what's happening here. This team is a scripted VH1 drama show. They know what's going on, and they know how to make it interesting. We're not going to win. We need to lose to keep our first round pick. But we also need to keep the viewer to the end of the fourth quarter to get all of our ad money. That's why this team is the king of the fake comeback. This is the Josh Harris producer on a reality show telling him, hey, listen, I know we're supposed to lose, but I need you guys to come back and make it close at the end and then lose so I can get all my ad money. That has to be it. Listen, there's a lot I want to say about this game. All right, but this is brought to you by Mando. And do you know why you need to go with Mando? Because Mando is a whole body deodorant. Okay? So you can smell good and fresh everywhere. So when you get to the fourth quarter with that girl you've been trying to hang out with, you don't lose on a buzzer beater like the Sixers just did. You stank. And now you don't get a second date because you didn't use Mando full body deodorant. Use my promo code SICKOS for $5 off your starter kit. The starter pack comes with solid stick deodorant, cream tube, 2 free products of your choice, and free shipping. Use my code SICKOS for $5 off your starter pack. That's about 40% off at shopmando.com. Please support Run It Back Philly and tell them we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. Use full body deodorant so you don't lose on a buzzer beater in the fourth quarter. Listen, let's get down to business, man. Everybody in here, do me a favor, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. We cover every 76ers game, win, lose, or draw, during and after the game. And we're on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and every other podcast platform with these post-game reactions. I don't know what I'm watching. I don't know how to react. I don't know even how to watch these games. This is the most confused I've ever been watching basketball, and it's not just because the Sixers are bad. It's because the Sixers are bad, okay? They were tied with the Brooklyn Nets for 6th worst record in the league. The Oklahoma City Thunder have their protected first-round pick. It's top 6 protected. Most of the fan base at this point wants them to lose to keep their first-round pick and possibly have a chance at getting number 1, number 2, or number 3 maybe in the draft at Cooper Flagg, Ace Bailey, so on and so forth. All right? But at the same time, the teams that are in there are trying to lose. All right? The other teams in there, the Washington Wizards, the Portland Trailblazers, the Charlotte Hornets, the Brooklyn Nets, and whoever else is in there, they are trying to lose. It's so confusing because the 76ers need to lose, right? But they're trying to win because they're also one game behind the Chicago Bulls for the 10th seed in the play-in tournament, okay? Then you got the owner and the GM telling everyone, when we're healthy, we feel like we're great, and we feel like the Cleveland Cavaliers should fear us if they get us in the first round, and you just have to squint to see it. You know, they're saying all this ridiculous shit, right? And they're actually going out there and playing all their guys, Joel Embiid, Podcast P, and Tyrese Maxey, and they're trying to win. And they're still losing to the worst teams in the league without the Nets are one of the worst teams in the league without 2 of their starters, D'Angelo Russell and Cam Thomas. And they're trying to lose. This is how bad it is to lose to this Brooklyn Nets team. The Brooklyn Nets are, number one, the Brooklyn Nets. Number two, traded away anybody that was helping them win, Dennis Schroeder. They're actively tanking, okay? They are trying to lose. And they don't have Cam Thomas and, dude. And they don't have Cam Thomas and D'Angelo Russell on the floor. So they're not good. They're without their two of their best players, and they're trying to lose, and they still beat you. Do you understand how bad that is? They still beat you with all of your players on the floor. 3 max contract players. Dude, somebody on Twitter today told me, don't worry, it will get worse than you could ever imagine. And that is, I have to credit the Philadelphia 76ers, man. I have to. Whenever you think it can't get worse than this, they will always show you worse. It's amazing. And just losing to a bad team is bad. Just losing to a tanking team is bad. But to be trying to win with 3 max contract players and still losing to a team that's trying to lose is unbelievable. And I don't know how they top themselves after that one. Because to go down to the wire, to the final possession, and lose that on a buzzer beater. Not only a buzzer beater on a putback on an offensive rebound by Nick Claxton over Paul George. I swear to God, dude, listen to me, man. Listen to me. If you went to name a good author. If you went to anyway, the best writer in the world, TV show producer, whoever, somebody that's really good at writing stories, if you went to them and you said, J.K. Rowling, okay, there we go, off the top of my head. If you went to J.K. Rowling and said, listen, I need you to write a story about the worst basketball team ever who loses in the worst possible ways and ruins entire seasons in almost creative ways. I need you to write this story. Even that author would not write it as good as this. This is next level. Dude, I just want to say this. This team was almost down by 20 points to this Brooklyn Nets team in the first half. Got it to 11 at halftime. And the funniest part is they made a comeback. Okay? In the third quarter, into the fourth quarter, they made a comeback. After getting bullied by the 20 and 35 Brooklyn Nets, getting just buckets given to you by Zaire Williams and Keon Johnson and Trendon Watford and Day'Ron Sharpe, by getting embarrassed by these flat-out no-name players, 2K generated my team career mode teammates. After getting embarrassed by these guys, they made a comeback. Paul George started looking like he was excited, which is hilarious. He starts looking like he's playing with energy in the fourth quarter just to shoot a couple more bricks. Dude, he came down the floor a couple of times during this comeback. The crowd's cheering. Podcast Pete feels like the crowd's behind him. Oh, man, I gotta play hard now. I got to be the savior here so all the fans can love me because they all, the whole city hates me. He looked excited during that comeback. And he shot 2 bricks in a row. And then, a dump down to Kelly Oubre and a 2-handed slam, and the crowd goes crazy, and Kelly Oubre's celebrating, and I'm like, what are we doing? Are we being serious? The players were celebrating a comeback against the tanking Brooklyn Nets, who are trying to lose. The fans were cheering. Kelly Oubre was celebrating. Paul George, Tyrese Maxey. Am I on planet Earth? And then you lost anyway. And then you lost anyway. In the funniest fucking way possible. You lost on a putback offensive rebound buzzer beater. This is some of the best story writing I have ever seen. This is Oscar worthy. Golden Globes, dude. Please, somebody write a Harry Potter length novel series about this team. Just next level entertainment. Flat out. There's no other way to put it. Next level entertainment. And that's how you have to watch it now, man. Because if you're watching it, thinking the Sixers are going to win or I want the Sixers to win, you just need help. This is next level entertainment. You need to tune into these Sixers games like it's a VH1 reality show. And it's just flat out entertaining because it's so unfathomable for a team to pay this much money to players and to be trying to win, yet actually be this bad. Crazy. Thank you all for coming through. Almost 500 of you in here. I'm going to get through a couple of notes that I took for this game, and then we'll do a little members/super chat Q&A for the second half of this, okay? And I'm going to read the rest of the chat too, not just members and super chats, but members and super chats get first dibs because I got to pay the bills. Here's the notes that I wrote down. My first note on my phone in the first quarter is Andre Drummond is an idiot. Andre Drummond. First of all, I can't even figure out why Nick Nurse is putting Andre Drummond on the floor anymore. He's so bad. He's just so bad. And that's the funny part. I see Nick Nurse and his lineups and his decisions, and I start to say, okay, they're clearly losing on purpose because these lineups are terrible, right? But then they come back and they try to win, and I'm like, either these are the smartest people in the world and they're fake trying to win, but seriously losing on purpose, or they're just this bad at their jobs. And I'm not giving Nick Nurse the credit of being that smart, or Daryl Morey. These guys are not so smart that they're making it look like they're trying to win but still losing. They're not that smart. These guys are fucking idiots. That's what they are. And they are trying to win. They're just this bad at their jobs. Anyway, Nick Nurse is still putting Andre Drummond on the floor, who is a minus 13 on the season. He's the lowest plus minus of the entire roster. He is still putting Andre Drummond on the floor. And Andre Drummond is an idiot. Andre Drummond got a technical foul after getting rejected at the rim by Trendon Watford. Okay, let me explain to you how fucking stupid this play was. Andre Drummond went to the rim against Trendon Watford, tried to dunk on him, got rejected. Watford fell down, and Drummond stared him down after the play and got a technical foul. I don't think I've ever seen a player taunt after getting rejected at the rim. He got rejected at the rim and taunted. He doesn't even know what's going on. He thought he made a good play. That's how bad and checked out the 76ers players are. Andre Drummond tried to dunk on Trendon Watford, got rejected, and stared him down and got a technical foul for taunting when he's the one that got rejected. I'm telling you, bro. You can't make this stuff up. This team is pure comedy. Straight, pure comedy. This is Louis C.K. level, South Park level of comedy. Seriously. And that's the embarrassing part, man. At least my second note on this game was at least tanking teams are admitting it. How embarrassing is it that you're trying to win and you're getting beat by tanking teams? Now let's talk about Joel Embiid. I am so confused as to why Joel Embiid is still being put out on the floor. Joel Embiid has said several times now that he's not himself. He's not 100%. He can't do what he's used to doing. He even said flat out in plain English, I might need a second surgery and more recovery time. In plain English, he said it. And this is somebody who speaks 7 languages. English isn't even Joel Embiid's first language. And he said it so clear. And the Sixers are still putting him out there. This is how dumb they are. The guy's telling you, I'm not healthy. I can't help you guys win. I'm not good right now. And the front office is so stupid. They're like, just keep putting him out there. Josh Harris is like, nah, just keep putting him out there. We're going to tell everyone we're trying to win. Dude, listen, if we get into the play-in tournament, man, and we get these guys healthy, we're good to go. This is how dumb these people are. Watching Nick Claxton dominate Joel Embiid in this game crushed my soul. I was in an alternate universe. Do you understand that? If we watched 2017, 18, 19, whatever year it was that Joel Embiid was consistently busting Nick Claxton's ass all over the TV every single time he played him. I mean, just bullying him, knocking him out of the way, dunking on his face, taunting him, laughing at him. If you would have told me back then that in 2025, Nick Claxton was going to dominate Joel Embiid in a basketball game, I would have slapped you right silly. And Nick Claxton was dominating Joel Embiid in this basketball game. That's how much a shell of Joel Embiid is right now. He is an absolute shell of himself right now. And it's so bad that Nick freaking Claxton is dominating him. And bro, Nick Claxton got him in the post and hit a double shimmy, double hezzy, Hakeem Olajuwon finish and won. Nick Claxton was straight dominating Joel Embiid. And that is just the complete Stranger Things upside down on what Joel Embiid was doing to Nick Claxton 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. When Joel was dunking all over Nick Claxton and dominating him, if it was the show Stranger Things and you could see the upside down, this is the upside down. This is the exact opposite of that 5 years later. And it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And again, whether the Sixers are good, whether they're bad, it's never boring because it's always so fucking crazy. It's always the most wildest shit you've ever seen. It's either a choke job in the playoffs or it's so bad that it's a 75 car pile up on the highway and you're like, oh shit, that looks like a disaster. I'm going to go check that out. Oh, do I even have to talk about Paul George? The guy is, I said this on the live and I wanted to make sure I said it again. Yeah, he had 15 points and 7 rebounds. Congratulations The guy hasn't scored more than 20 points in a basketball game. I don't know since when. Paul George can't beat these dudes off the dribble. Trendon Watford and Jay Wilson and Zaire Williams and Keon Johnson. Paul George is so cooked that he can't beat G League players off the dribble anymore. That's how cooked he is. And Paul George is living the dream, bro. Watch the way that he plays. He's absolutely living the dream. Paul George is going into the 76ers arena like it's the rec center down the street. He doesn't care. He's literally like, "Hey, babe, I gotta go. I'll be back. I gotta go hoop for 2 hours. I gotta go put up some shots for 2 hours." His wife's driving a Lamborghini Urus and taking, extravagant vacations because he's getting paid $600,000 a game to go down to the rec center and put some shots up, dude. The guy's living the dream. Paul George plays basketball like he's wearing AirPods. Straight up. Guys, watch this new move I'm trying out. Dribble, double behind the back, step back, fade away in the corner, shank off the side of the rim. Oh. Bro, he's playing basketball like he's wearing a book bag at the park in slides on at recess. This is such an epic disaster, bro. The Paul George signing, the Joel Embiid extension. This is such a colossal disaster, man.
I'm sorry.
Bro, put this up there with like the volcano that covered a whole city in ash and like 9/11 and some other things, man. This is a colossal disaster. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. But anyway, yeah, what else did I write down? Everybody was giving Joel Embiid buckets. Dude, everybody. Not just Nick Claxton. I mean, Day'Ron Sharpe. Day'Ron Sharpe was dominating him in the paint in the fourth quarter. Trendon Watford was cooking Paul George. The Sixers made a comeback. Somehow the 76ers, every time they have a terrible possession, it ends up in Kelly Oubre's hands. It's just so funny to me that he's a magnet for bad basketball. And Kelly Oubre should not be in a situation where he's one of your main scorers. He shouldn't be a starter. I like Kelly Oubre for what he is, but 38 minutes, no. Nobody in the NBA should be playing Kelly Oubre 38 minutes. It's just so funny that Kelly Oubre gets a two-handed slam to put the Sixers up one, and the crowd goes crazy, and they're celebrating a comeback against a team that is losing on purpose with a bunch of G League players on the floor. And then the Nets win anyway. 103-100. Tyrese Maxey hits a three to tie the game. And what happened? Keon Johnson drives to the rim, floater or something. He misses. No, he got a three. He got a three-point attempt on the left side. It was either Watford or Keon Johnson got a three-point attempt on the left side. Missed it. I was crying real human tears because I did not want to watch overtime. Watching this team is like accidentally getting hot sauce in my eyes. You ever eat tacos, You put some hot sauce on there, you forget it's on your fingertips, and then you rub your eye? That's what watching this team feels like. I got hot sauce in my eyes. I was praying to not have an overtime in this stupid, pointless, ridiculous, terrible game. So I was praying for the Keon Johnson shot to go in, and it rimmed out. I thought we were doomed. I thought we had to watch overtime. And Nick Claxton said, "I got you, bro." And gets an offensive rebound over Podcast P and puts it in at the buzzer. The Nets win at the buzzer. Sixers fans win. They don't have to watch an overtime. Everybody wins. You know what's funny? Every time I'm going to have, I think to myself, this game doesn't matter. The Sixers suck. I'm going to have nothing to say in a post-game show, and nobody's going to watch it or listen to it. And they, every single time, they give me more than enough content. Every single time. They give me more than enough content, and this was just epic. This was just epic. I mean, this was making a game this meaningless, this exciting, and this entertaining. Unbelievable. I mean, this is a low budget film that just becomes a fan favorite. This game, just unbelievable. Nick Nurse on Joel Embiid. He's giving us what he can. He's not himself. We all know that. He's not certainly the guy that we're used to seeing play at a super high level. Nick Nurse said that in his post-game press conference. So why are they playing him? If Joel Embiid is saying, I shouldn't be on the floor, and the coach is saying, he's not good right now, why is he playing? Why is he playing? Can somebody explain to me why he's playing? This organization just continues to just be the dumbest, just flat out worst run organization in history. I'm telling you, man, it's Best Buy, it's KFC, and it's the Philadelphia 76ers, man. And Xfinity. Xfinity is also one of the worst run organizations on the planet. But they get away with scamming people because they got a monopoly over the shit. Best Buy, Xfinity, Philadelphia 76ers. Worst run organizations on the planet. I mean, from the ramping up bullshit, from the being vague about injuries, from the bust draft picks, from the players getting injured and nobody being able to figure out what's wrong, Markelle Fultz, Ben Simmons, to the process failing, to the Sam Hinkie, to the Brian Colangelo scandal, to the signing Al Horford to a $100 million contract, to Brett Brown, to Elton Brand, all the way to Joel Embiid being absolutely cooked, saying he's cooked, the coach saying he's cooked, and the organization is still putting him on the floor. Unbelievably poorly run organization. It is absolutely unbelievable. It really is. Hey, Adam Lau. Hey, Za, thank you for that comment. Shout out to the members in the chat. Lawrence Talley, Pope Platinum Beats. My man Za, AM215. Shout out to the 215. And Adam Lauer, thank you for the super chat. J.K. Rowling would make it stranger. To be fair, she'd have Nick Nurse and Kyle Lowry. I guess that would be weirder. I understand you're taking a shot at the Kyle Lowry-Nick Nurse relationship. That was a little bit too descriptive for me personally. But it's hard to watch. It is. And I want to read this to you guys. Speaking of Nick Nurse, I want to read something to you guys that I saved. I meant to post it on Instagram or do some kind of a quick video reacting to it. But anyway, speaking of Nick Nurse and how bad he's been this season, and just how confusing he's been this season. This is from a Toronto Raptors fan 3 months ago, talking about Nick Nurse. This is on a Raptors Reddit forum. Here's what he said about Nick Nurse, and if you've watched every Sixers game this season, this makes perfect sense. He said, Nick Nurse has changed over the years. The first couple of years in Toronto, he was very innovative. He made those teams greater than the sum of their parts, but something changed during the lockout when the team had to play in Tampa. He stopped innovating, and he kept running the same offense that is not a good fit for the modern NBA. He shunned young players' development. and focused on playing veterans, and he increasingly isolated himself from working with the players directly. His last year in Toronto, he wouldn't even talk to players directly. They had to communicate through assistants. Why this happened? Is he getting older and crankier and just doesn't want to keep yelling at kids to get off his lawn? Who knows? But I feel losing touch with the players was the key factor in him being fired from Toronto. Now the only feedback he gets is from assistants and trusted veterans like Kyle Lowry. And this whole season, I've been so confused by Nick Nurse and what he does, and how it seems like he's not really watching the game. And we're all on the outside watching it, and he's doing things that don't seem like they make sense based on what we're seeing happen. Like you get run off the floor by teams full of young athletes, but you still refuse to put young athletes on the floor, and you keep playing, Kyle Lowry and Eric Gordon and Andre Drummond and injured Joel Embiid and Paul George. And when you did play the young guys, the team looked more energetic. They were more competitive. And they actually won a couple of games just a couple weeks ago. And I've been so confused by him this season. And this makes perfect sense. He's definitely not reading the fan reactions on Twitter. He doesn't care what they ask him in a post-game press conference. And I don't even think he's really having discussions with players. It just seems like he's totally lost, and he's just doing the same thing over and over, and he can't figure out why it's not working. It's insane. It is absolutely insane. But I also think Nick Nurse did lose these players. He lost this locker room. He lost these players. This season, the lack of effort has been on an astronomical level. No coach that players respect would get this lack of effort. No coach that the roster respects would get this lack of effort. Flat out, so many games this season were just a testament to how much the players do not care, and Nick Nurse's words are not entering their stratosphere. He is completely disconnected and lost when it comes to the game right now, but definitely is not connected with these players at all. And and what this Raptors fan said there, seems like it makes sense. And I feel like I'm going to say this every episode, I do not know how the 76ers could come back with this next season. How could you put 3 max contract players and your new championship winning head coach and the pieces Daryl Morey got at the trade deadline? How could you put all of that on the floor in front of your home fans and still lose to the tanking Brooklyn Nets on a buzzer beater? How could you bring this team back next season with this same head coach? I don't know, man. I don't know. They fired Brett Brown. They hired Doc Rivers. That was their new way to sell us hope, right? Then they fired Doc Rivers. They hired Nick Nurse. That was their new way. Oh, Doc Rivers was the problem. We hated Doc Rivers. He wasn't good. Don't get me wrong. But that was their new way to sell hope. Okay, all the fans hate Doc Rivers. Let's get him out of here. Now we got a younger championship level head coach. This is our new way to sell season tickets, right? And every offseason, I got to give Josh Harris credit. He finds a way to sell season tickets. This past season, they had to lie about Joel Embiid being ready to play to sell season tickets. And then they had to tell all season ticket holders, oh, he's ramping up. He's going to be ready soon. And season ticket holders lost all their money because the ticket sales plummeted because the team sucks. That had to be Josh Harris's last hurrah at fooling everyone into buying season tickets. How in the world are they going to bring this team and this coach back next season and get a single season ticket purchaser to say yes? How? I don't know. I don't know. But it's just going to be another episode of keeping up with the Philadelphia 76ers, man, because they just keep churning out storylines. But I don't know this time. I don't know how they're going to fix this one and get anybody to come back next season. You fire Daryl Morey and Nick Nurse and still bring back Joel Embiid and Paul George. This fan base is not showing up. If anybody buys a season ticket package next season, they need to be arrested for public psychosis. I don't know if that's a thing, but they need to be arrested like somebody on PCP who ran down the street naked and jumped on a moving car in an intersection. They need to be arrested for heavy, heavy drug use if anybody buys season tickets next season. I will say this, though, because there's a level inside me of creativity and rage. And so many people are like, your rants are epic, and, I love hearing you rant about this team. You're hilarious or whatever. Like, that only comes out when something frustrates me to this level. You know what I mean? So at the same time, thank you, Philadelphia 76ers, for being this historically putrid year after year after year. Because you have built my YouTube channel to a level that was unimaginable. And it's flat out because you suck every year in such a creative way that it just brings out a level of rage inside me that is entertaining for thousands of people. So for me and the success of my brand and podcast, please never win. Please keep doing this. You got to see what Paul George said. Look at Kyle Neubeck. All right, we're going to do that, and then I'm out of here. 600 people in here listening to me. Apparently, it's still entertaining. I don't know, man. Like, every day I'm like, I can't believe I'm still talking about this team. Nobody's going to listen. Nobody cares anymore. And then this happens, and there's 610 people live listening, and I'm like, I don't know. I guess people are still at least entertained by how disastrous this is. And yeah, where's the 600 likes, man? For me, even still doing this, I think we deserve some likes. All right, let's go to Kyle Neubeck, and we'll put it on the screen here, and we'll see what he said. Here's what Kyle Neubeck tweeted that Paul George said. I asked Paul George, who has come back from multiple major injuries, if there was any wisdom to pass on to Embiid to help during his process of getting back to himself. He said, drugs help. Paul also gave a longer quote I will transcribe once we are out of the locker room, but he was more serious with this answer than I thought he was at first. I asked Paul George if there was any wisdom to pass on to Embiid to help during his process of getting back to himself. And this guy said, drugs help? All right. I mean, he's talking about injections and stuff. I think that's what he's talking about. But he's talking about wisdom to pass on to Embiid to help during his process of getting back to himself. That's not a question about injuries or medical. That's a question about, mentally. What could you say to help him come back during this time of getting back to himself, and he said drugs help. And then you see him on his dumbass fucking podcast episodes, and he looks high as a kite every time. So that's what's going on here. That's what's going on here. Straight up. Paul George signed a $200 million contract, and he's high all the time. That's exactly why he plays as nonchalant as he plays. He's high all the time. And now he's telling Joel Embiid, just get high like I do, and then nothing matters, dude. If you sign a contract and you don't live up to it, and everybody's mad at you, and you feel like the world's against you, and everything's closing in, just smoke weed, and then none of it matters. It all makes sense now. Paul George acts and plays like he smokes a lot of weed, dude. Wow. Yeah. I think this was a solid episode, man. What do you guys think? Thanks for hanging out with me again. Thanks for listening to my rant about this team. It's unbelievable that I'm still ranting about this team, to be honest. Don't forget, use Mando whole body deodorant so you don't lose on a buzzer beater in the fourth quarter. You're hanging out with that girl you've been wanting to hang out with for a while. You finally get past second base, and you lose in the fourth quarter because you stink. Don't let that happen to you. Use Mando and use my promo code SICKOS for $5 off your starter kit. And it comes with creams, it comes with sprays, it comes with wipes. Whatever you want to do to not smell like the 76ers play. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.